within a decade, crypto and blockchain technology will be the 12th sector of the S&P. It's a use case. Let me walk you through my thinking on it. When you're an indexer, you're constantly creating indices in multiple markets. So let's take Europe. So we have an index that is 50 European stocks that is very popular. And so what we try and do is find the best balance sheets. And Europe is basically made up of Switzerland, so the Swiss franc, Europe itself, Germany and France, so that's the euro as a currency, and then the London Stock Exchange, which is in British pounds. Now, let's say you're putting out $100 million index, just for start. You seed an index with $100 million. I have to take the $100 million US dollars, allocate it into 3 different currencies, go through an FX exchange where I get clipped basis points, no value whatsoever, zero value, buy the stocks on the native exchanges, manage their positions. Usually a mandate like that is no more than 5% in any one stock. So if it doubles in price, you got to sell half of it. Go back from that, Swiss franc back into US dollars, get clipped again, no value whatsoever. I mean, it is such a waste of capital for everybody. It's useless friction. Now think ahead to crypto. Let's just talk about payment systems. Let's just talk USDC, just one. There's many opportunities to do stablecoins, but if we could get agreement amongst regulators, let's say the Toomey bill, which I'm proud to be involved with, and the Haggerty bill, same thing, just focus on stablecoins, just one thing, because the largest market on earth is currency trading. Yeah. It's trillions of dollars, and it's incredibly inefficient. So their proposal is very simple. Okay, let's audit these stablecoins every 30 days, agree to an audit, and also agree that any asset that's backing the coin is no more than 12 months in duration. Very simple mandate. I get it. Everybody gets it. Now, the risk here is if one coin agrees to under that mandate and gets licensed, the others, it's going to be one of these situations. I won't mention any names, but the king may not have any clothes.
Right.
And that's going to be ugly. However, if we can get the legislation through, I could potentially only use one payment system for all of the stocks that I'm buying in all these different currencies. And all of a sudden, the efficiency of that, the billions in savings, it's at our fingertips. I know with certainty, and I'll make a statement now, and I've said it before, that within a decade, crypto and blockchain technology will be the 12th sector of the S&P. Right now, there's 11 sectors. It will become the 12th. The only decision any of us as investors have to make now is how much should I allocate to crypto now? And how should I deploy it? How much diversification should I have? So in my head, the big event is going to be policy on crypto. It will open the floodgates to capital from pension and sovereign, which we don't have. People talk about Bitcoin, 800 billion. That's nothing. That's nothing in financial services. It's not even a pimple. It's nothing. Nobody owns it. I mean, yes, there's some high net worth individuals, some hedge funds, and a few retail investors, but Bitcoin is a nothing burger in financial services. However, the potential would be that we do provide regulation, and all of a sudden in a sovereign fund where they might put 1% allocation, but that sovereign fund is $100 billion. That's a small sovereign fund. So I'm investing ahead of that. I'm making the assumption that if I'm buying in, 35 to 40,000, that I'll see this at 150, 250,000 one day when it gets allocated and indexed. Because if an indexer says I'm putting 1% allocation, if the coin drops 20%, which is very volatile, they buy back up to 1%. Yeah. So you have a bid. They're the bid. They're the market all the time. 24/7, they're the market. We don't have that right now. So the conference like this is very important to note who makes up the population of attendees. And here I can point to institutions that I indexed for that are walking around with baseball bats on or hats on because they don't want to be seen, but they're here to learn, and government officials from multiple countries. So this tells you the tone is towards policy, and that's why there's a big buzz out there. I think the best strategy right now is not to bet the farm on a token or a coin. I like the analogy from the gold rush way back hundreds of years ago, when you would have done better owning the picks and shovels and the jeans that people wore than to try and pick a hole in the ground and mine it. So I'm looking for opportunities. I'm a shareholder in FTX. I have to disclose that. I'm also a paid spokesperson for Sam. Happy to do that. But I also find companies like Immutable Holdings that's doing NFT.com. That's infrastructure. Another one called WonderFi that's buying all the regulated exchanges to service banks, like in countries like Canada. BitZero, we talked about. It's a private company, but I'm 100% behind that for sustainable mining and working with them in all these different state and different countries. It's a very collaborative way of working. And a good example is Ryan, FTX's CEO. He introduced me to the government in Georgia.
Yeah.
And I'm way down the rabbit hole in Georgia now, buying assets in their country, even though it's right beside Russia. But I have an opinion about that. I think Russians are pretty busy right now in the Ukraine and not doing so well. So I think at the end of the day, I'm not that worried about Georgia because it's a very entrepreneurial place. I don't think it's of much interest to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm willing to deploy capital there. The point is, I wouldn't have known about it unless this collaboration existed with other CEOs that are working on this stuff. I'm intrigued. I think infrastructure is the play. Owning a piece of exchanges, you're agnostic to price of coin. Doesn't matter. It goes up or down, you still get paid. So that is what I'm sort of focusing on now. And I do have a big portfolio of 32 other tokens and positions: Polygon, Solana, HBAR, Helium, Avalanche, like all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's all software. There's no coin. It's just software. So I'm investing in software